You might garnish somebody, and you might garnish them for over $100,000 that you're going to receive. But that's not common. Usually people have 30,000 or less in their bank account. 2 weeks ago, I garnished somebody's bank account for $200. Wasn't even worth it. However, the defendant called and said, "What's this about?" And I explained to the defendant, we're only getting 200 now, but we're going to do this again. And this is going to continue to keep happening to you. And when you sell your real estate down the line or you pass away, you're going to have to pay all of this. The state's going to have to pay this. And we were able to work a deal, and now the defendant's paying $500 a month. So even though I only garnished 200, I brought the defendant to the table, and now the defendant's happy because he got a discount on the judgment. He's making payments.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we are joined by Levey, who's the founder and owner of Levey Law Firm. Welcome to the podcast, Lewis.
Hi, pleasure to see you, Mary.
Why don't we start by you telling us just a little bit about yourself and what you guys do at the Levey Law Firm?
I've been in this business of business litigation and collection work for about 40 years now. And over the years, I've fine-tuned my business where I have various techniques used to collect money for people who are owed money and handle business matters with the goal of resolving the matters quickly, efficiently, and inexpensively. Not many attorneys can brag about doing this, but I'm one of them who can.
Great. So, what are the biggest trends you're seeing in the industry right now?
Well, a lot changed after COVID. After COVID, we started having our hearings on Zoom. So rather than have to get ready, drive to the courthouse, find parking, walk to the courthouse, regardless of the weather, wait around in the lobby, take the elevator up, and go in person to a hearing. Now we can schedule hearings and have our hearings heard all over the state right on our computer. And because of that, people are not hesitant to schedule a hearing. They're not hesitant to not resolve matters because they're not worried about driving and parking and walking up to the courthouse. So as a result, there are so many hearings. Every Zoom hearing, you could see 30, 40, 50 or more attorneys waiting to be heard. It's much harder to have a hearing heard these days than it was prior to COVID. So in the past, you might be able to get a hearing in 2 weeks. Now it could take 2 months or longer to get a hearing. This is one serious change. It gives you the ability to appear all over the state and handle matters on Zoom, but it creates a hardship in getting cases heard quicker and having hearings resolved sooner.
Interesting. Very interesting. I didn't know that. Wow. So, who is your customer specifically?
Well, my business is really two areas. One is business litigation, commercial litigation. This concerns business disputes involving money. Can be buyers versus sellers, or people who provide services who haven't been getting paid. It can be landlord-tenant disputes, usually over commercial leases. On occasion, I handle residential, but mostly commercial leases. Disputes over trade secrets, partnership breakups, derivative actions where shareholders are suing the corporation. So there's a lot of complicated business and commercial litigation matters that I handle on one side of my business. On the other side is the side I enjoy a lot, which is collections, collecting money. And as you know, in the United States, we don't have any debtor's prison. So if you are owed money, there's not much you can do other than find an attorney to help collect the money. And I represent a lot of banks, a lot of credit unions, a lot of lenders. And so I handle volume matters where I seek entry of judgments for these entities. And then I get the judgments and try to collect on the judgments. For individuals or company or business owners, they may have one or two matters. I use the same techniques. I file suit and seek to obtain judgments as soon as possible. Once I get the judgments, then my next step is I'm using techniques I've developed over the years that I consider trade secrets to find bank accounts. Once I find bank accounts, I garnish the bank accounts, and this usually brings defendants to the table because they can't use their banks anymore. They can't make payments, they can't make deposits, they can't sleep at night. And this is to get people to wake up and realize that they're not going to get away with it and they're going to have to pay their judgment debt.
My goodness. Wow. So tell me, are you using AI at all to do any of the stuff you guys do at Levy Law Firm?
This is a great question. I hear some people say it's wrong to use AI. I have other people that say it's right to use AI. And I have my strong opinion about this. And that is, if you have a complicated business matter, I think you have a duty to use AI, and it would be improper not to. It might even be considered malpractice. However, using AI is complicated, and you must read every sentence of what AI gives you. And if AI cites an opinion, a case opinion by a court of appeal, you must review that opinion to make sure it's accurate. In essence, AI is a great tool to write memorandums and other legal documents, but you have to vet every single sentence. And if you're not willing to do that, AI is not for you. But if you make sure every sentence is accurate, no matter how long it takes to do that, you're going to have an excellent paper. So, in that regard, I think AI is excellent. In the collection business, where it's a lot of forms, where I'm moving for entry of a judgment, I'm moving to obtain a writ of garnishment to seize a bank account or seize somebody's salary on occasion. You can use forms for this. You have to still review every form and make sure it meets the facts in your case, but you don't need AI to handle these kind of simpler matters. But for complicated matters, I think it's required for AI to be used.
Okay. So, what have been the biggest challenges growing the business over the past year?
As far as challenges, it takes a lot of work to handle a volume practice. I'm handling matters in all 67 counties in Florida, and I've been doing this for 40 years. But as time has gone by and technological matters have changed, technology has changed, um, you know, staying up with how to handle volume. If a client gives me 30 files, 40 files, 50 files, it's staying up, calendaring all the files, filing all the lawsuits, serving all the defendants. So it's been a challenge. And what I've done is I've trained staff who have become experts and have trained others. And I've hired more and more staff to stay up with the volume. Fortunately, I have some excellent staff members. My wife and 5 children work with my firm. They range from the oldest being 33 and the youngest being 20. And they have been finding defendants, preparing subpoenas. The 5 kids have been helping me. The second oldest is an attorney. She helps with the litigation in the case. My wife helps with the billing. So we have 7 family members. Then we have 5 others, and we're looking for more. And the challenge has been staying up with the volume. And I think we've done an excellent job at doing that. I personally take everybody's phone call. Everyone, clients or defendants, can call me on my cell anytime. Most law firms, you got to call, leave a message with a receptionist or voicemail. I do it the opposite. Everyone can contact me directly. If I don't answer because I'm in court or a deposition, they can leave a message and I call everybody back the same day.
Great. So, if you had a time machine and you could go back to the beginning with your business, what are some things that you might change?
Well, early on, I didn't realize that the one technique to uh, collect on a judgment was garnishment. I did them here and there, but now I've developed techniques to find banks, and my first step in every case is to do a garnishment. In a garnishment, you're going to have a filing fee in Florida of around $88 with the clerk's office. Then you have to serve the bank. The process server's fees range from $50 to $100. And then you have to pay the bank's statutory fee of $100. If instead you want to go in with a sheriff or a marshal, it could cost thousands of dollars when you're going to seize assets. A lot of the assets are worth 10 cents on the dollar. You have to pay for storage. It could cost you thousands of dollars to seize assets. Now, if there's a warehouse with hundreds of thousands of dollars of goods, then it's worth it. But if you want to seize somebody's car, it's a used car, their old Wave Runner, their electronic equipment, their furniture. These items are worth 10 cents on the dollar. It's not worth it, in my opinion, to hire the sheriff or marshal to seize these assets. Again, my focus now, as opposed to early in my career, is garnishments. And garnishments wakes people up and brings them to the table. You know, you might garnish somebody and you might garnish them for over $100,000 that you're going to receive, but that's not common. Usually people have 30,000 or less in their bank account. 2 weeks ago, I garnished somebody's bank account for $200. Wasn't even worth it. However, the defendant called and said, "What's this about?" And I explained to the defendant, we're only getting 200 now, but we're going to do this again. And this is going to continue to keep happening to you. And when you sell your real estate down the line or you pass away, you're going to have to pay all of this. Your estate's going to have to pay this. And we were able to work a deal, and now the defendant's paying $500 a month. So even though I only garnished 200, I brought the defendant to the table, and now the defendant's happy because he got a discount on the judgment. He's making payments, so the client's happy, and this way it's one more matter resolved. I'm not trying to make it tough for the lives of the defendants, unless they ignore me. If they contact me and they want to work things out, they deserve respect, and I help them work things out. It's the ones who ignore me. There are two types of defendants. They're the ones who commit fraud. They're not going to want to resolve something unless you really make their life difficult. And then the other ones who are having financial problems. Some businesses may have lost clients, they're having financial problems. There could be some health issues or other issues. Partners leave. And these companies deserve respect. And if they're willing to work things out, I help them resolve the matters with my clients, and we work out monthly payments they can live with. It's the ones who ignore me, those are the ones where I go forward, seize the bank account, and I keep pushing and I keep fighting. There are various techniques. I could ask them to produce records, show up for their depositions, and if they ignore that, I get a court order. If they ignore the court order, then I move for issuance of a writ of bodily attachment. In Florida, a writ of bodily attachment is an order from the judge instructing the sheriff or marshal, if it's a federal case, to take the defendant into custody. And in Florida, it's not just put handcuffs, it's shackles, it's chains on their feet and on their hands. And the reason it's shackles is because when a defendant's in contempt of court, the court wants to embarrass the defendant. And as the defendant is marched up by the sheriff with chains dangling up the courthouse steps into the courthouse, this embarrasses the defendant and teaches the defendant you should not ignore a court order. And this technique, I hate to do it, but I've done it many times over the years, and this has brought defendants to the table to resolve cases as well.
Okay, goodness. Well, if time and money were not a constraint, what is one big problem that you would solve immediately?
Do you mean in connection with my business or globally?
With your business. There's too many to talk about globally.
I agree. I agree. But I have plenty of opinions globally. But with regard to my business, what do you want to know? What problem would I try to solve?
Yes, if you could solve it immediately with time and money not being a constraint.
I'd like to see cases move quicker. I'd like there to be a change in the court where there is a division handling collection matters. Because when I appear in court on a collection matter on Zoom, I'm competing with personal injury cases, uh, other cases that have nothing to do with the collection of debts. There's real estate foreclosure. I'm competing with foreclosures. I handle foreclosures on occasion, but I don't want to compete in a simple matter where someone has not paid a debt. If you borrow $50,000 and you don't pay anything back, why should I have to wait 2 months for a hearing? Why should I have to wait to compete at that hearing and listen to other hearings for an hour where they're talking about uh, matters that have nothing to do with non payment of debts? I think the courts should have divisions that deal just with non payment of debts. And I think that would be a great improvement. If I had unlimited amount of funds, I would donate money to various counties to help them create new divisions where people who are collecting debts are shown respect, and they don't have to wait 2, 3 months to have a hearing on a simple matter where someone hasn't paid a debt.
So here's a bit of a different topic. I know ADA compliance with website accessibility was in the news for a couple of years. How are you currently approaching that?
Well, I've had some litigation over this, and your website is supposed to be able to be used by people who don't see well. And there's various litigation in New York about this, and I've consulted clients to make their website available. So if they're reaching out to customers or clients in New York, specifically New York City, that they're compliant with the laws in New York City. I haven't seen this come up in Florida or other states. I'm not in all the other states right now. I plan on moving to the other states, many other states in the future. But for now, if you're going to do business in New York City, your website should be compliant, and it should be able to be seen by people or can listen to it for people who have sight problems. It's important anyway to help people who are disabled. So that's always a good idea to do so.
So, what are your plans for 2026?
Well, I have big plans next week. Where I'm located now, I've been for 15 years. About a year and a half ago, I knew that the lease was going to be expiring at the end of November. My offices are in Miami Beach, which is where I live. And next week, I'm moving to downtown Miami in a beautiful building, one of the top buildings called One Biscayne Tower. I'm very excited. I'm going to be in an 11-year lease with a 10-year extension. So that's 21 years, if not longer. I'll be 86 at that time. But I'm building for the future for my family, my daughter, who's an attorney, and the others. My youngest son wants to go to law school and become an attorney, and my other son is studying for the bar. He wants to be an attorney. So, um, uh, not for the bar. He's studying to get into law school. But my future is new offices. I have new offices next week on the 27th floor, looking out over across the street from where the Miami Heat play basketball over the water. And I'm very excited about being in downtown Miami. So that's starting next week. So that's a lot of new action for me, beginning a little bit before 2026, but of course, going into 2026 in the future.
It's about our time. So, for the people listening who want to check you out, they might want to check out Levy Law Firm. Where can they go?
Well, my website gives the most information. I have frequently asked questions and a lot of information to help people decide whether they need an attorney or what they should do. And that's at leveylaw.com. And Levey, I have 5 letters in my name, Levey. So all somebody has to do is type in LEVEYLAW.com and they'll get right to my website and they can call my office and my office will give them my cell phone and they can contact me anytime.
Great. Thank you so much, Lewis. Uh, and thank you guys for watching. We will see you in the next episode.
Thank you, Mary.